Welcome to Science Saturday, where we're going to get into some deeper science today about chewing and how much chewing is too much chewing, or are you not chewing enough? Let's find out. This post is inspired by a recent examine.com email that I got that talked about Horace Fletcher and a couple articles that we're going to reference here about chewing, and we're adding to that with a few of the things that demonstrate the importance of chewing. So first, a history lesson. Horace Fletcher, the original chewing champ. In the early 1900s, Horace Fletcher, otherwise known as the Great Masticator, be careful how you say that word, claimed that chewing food until it liquefied would prevent disease, reduce food intake, and improve digestion. Fletcherizing became a wellness trend of the time. Most likely, he would have been on the TED Talk circuit all over the place if he were around today. So references indicate he was recommending chewing anywhere from 32 up to 100 times per bite of food so that it was fully and thoroughly chewed. So was he on to something? Well, let's look at some science. The first one we're going to look at here is a meta-analysis, influence of oral processing on appetite and food intake. So in this study, or study of studies, 38 papers were evaluated and detailed 40 different studies, 70 subgroups, etc., and ultimately determined that there was a significant effect of the direct and indirect aspects of oral processing, chewing, that were related to chewing both on self-reported hunger and food intake. So how do we say that? Well, participants consume 10 to 15% fewer calories when they chewed significantly more. So could it be a method to lose weight? Perhaps. Study number 2. The effect of mastication, evaluation and intervention on body composition and biochemical indices in female patients with obesity. So this is a chewing-focused intervention that ultimately improved BMI, body fat mass, and insulin resistance. So BMI dropped more in the chewing group than in the non-chewing group. Fascinating. And our last study that we're going to go to examine.com for. So Examine, again, does summaries of studies. So they took a study and looked at chewing. This one looked at ultra-processed versus minimally processed foods. And here, what we found was ultra-processed foods are soft, require less chewing, and tend to be linked to higher calorie intake, therefore weight gain. This particular one, it's a small study, and yet they found some intriguing results about ultra-processed versus minimally processed food. What might that be, you ask? Well, Examine here has a fancy little picture that tells us the difference between ultra-processed and minimally processed meals. Really interesting here to look at the differences. Breakfast, blueberry yogurt. Oftentimes there's a lot of added sugar in that. Turkey sausage, so it's processed heavily to get you to turkey sausage. Croissant and margarine. Lunch, potato chips, chicken nuggets, and diet lemonade. And then dinner, cheese and peanut butter crackers, turkey meatball marinara sub on white bread, provolone cheese, and another diet lemonade. So minimal chewing of those ultra-processed food, but significant calories. Compared to the minimally processed meals where we have Greek yogurt, so no added sugar, real fruits, and some nuts. We have a decent sized salad here with real food on it, chicken breast and apples and grapes and things. And then finally at dinner time, another salad, beef tender roast. So things that are requiring more chewing and happen to be more quote unquote real food. Also, what was found in here was that harder to chew foods tend to increase the feelings of fullness and naturally slows down the eating speed. Those two things are probably related. So that is chewing food and weight loss. What about other aspects of chewing food? Because we have chewing foods effects on growth and development. So as a child, if you think use it or lose it, if you're not chewing much, how are the facial structures going to develop? The muscles, the bones, teeth, alveolar bone, etc. This one has been a little harder to study on humans. There's a lot of studies on animals, rats, and things. We'll get to look at a couple of those. But the first thing we're going to look at here is from one of my favorite authors, Daniel Lieberman. You should look him up on Amazon or your local bookstore. He's got a number of really fascinating books. But in this article, effects of food processing on masticatory strain and craniofacial growth. So here, they're looking at the fact that eating harder foods resulted in stronger muscles, wider dental arches, less crowding, and that all might be good. Good for the airway, good for the mouth in general. So another benefit of chewing food. And what about our next article where we have soft diets? So this article is reinforcing the idea that using the muscles of mastication will result in broader bones of the jaw, stronger bones of the jaw, and even influence the angle of growth, which can be a net positive, especially if you want your kids to grow up like a well-chiseled Greek statue. Our last study on this topic was looking at rats, but again, here we have the same conclusion that the use of the muscles, more use of the muscles, has an effect on the growth and development of the facial structures. So if you're a rat, it works in you too. Next up, what else happens in the mouth? So when we chew food, we are actually stimulating saliva, which affects our oral pH, the acidity in the mouth, which affects our caries risk. So chewing isn't just setting the tone for growth and development, it's also allowing us to lubricate the mouth, clear out foods, and flush away bacteria, remineralize enamel because of the constituents of the saliva. So again, more chewing is a net positive for oral health, reducing caries, reducing gingivitis potentially, and helping with xerostomia, assuming that you don't have an issue with your salivary glands. There's more we could talk about in this area, but this is already longer than normal. So a final thought here. When's the last time you actually chewed food with awareness? When was the last time you counted how many times you chew food? Try it. And then try doing it a lot more. See what it feels like. See what the food feels like. See if you get fuller faster. And finally, talk to somebody about this. Ask them their opinion and share the video. I'll see you tomorrow.